Welcome to DC Music Rocks. The Washington, D.C. region has one of the best local music scenes in the country. We're shining a spotlight on its great songs and incredible people. Tune in, jam on, rock out. I'm your host, Brian Nelson Palmer, and with me today is Brent Peterson of Brent and Company.
Hello. Good to see you.
It's such a treat to have you here, man.
Pleasure to be here.
I've been such a fan for a while. This is awesome. And if they've never heard of you, how would you describe yourself?
Describe myself as an aspiring Van Morrison, or there's another guy, Ben Howard, who I really like. He's got a great sound that I've found very inspirational. Al Green is a big influence too, but maybe my music doesn't always sound as good as his.
Well, I think your music sounds great, man.
Thank you.
There's that. And so the genre and the type of music, like what are we talking about? Rock, country?
Yeah, it's acoustic rock, generally speaking, but the influences vary. We got some reggae, some country, and a little bit of funk.
Kind of all over the map.
It's like a childhood mixtape.
Do you prefer like childhood mixtapes?
Best analogy
I like that. Is such a good. Oh man, some people. It's scary to think that some people don't know what childhood mixtapes are. They're just playlists now. It's a thing. Anyway, and when they see you live, what does Brent and Company look like on stage?
Well, there's two iterations that you most likely will see in the immediate DC region. I do a lot of solo acoustic shows.
Got it.
Those are typically during the week.
Okay.
And then on the weekends, we are usually a trio or a quartet with saxophone, bass, drums, and then I'm on vocals and guitar.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to find out more about this. On our show today, we'll start with the news from the DC music scene. Then we have great music by DC artists to share. And of course, we got a very special interview with Brent here. Now, two quick reminders as we get started. If you haven't already, subscribe to the DC Music Rocks podcast. Also, please take a moment to share us with someone in your life who loves music. We've grown and thousands of our followers. You know, it's funny when you write this down and then you wrote it down and you didn't quite, what I'm meaning to say is that thousands of our followers, it's based entirely upon your word of mouth. That's how it's all happened. So
well done.
I'm honored and really appreciate you sharing DC Music Rocks. Thanks for that, guys. And the second is sign up for our email list. Every week we're finding and sharing all these events, this news, these guests, and this great music. Let us email it to you so you don't have to go looking for it. Now let's jump into the news. First up is announcements. I have a new playlist for you. If you're a Spotify person, I have a new playlist and it's called This Week's Dose of DC Music. And I'm taking a note from Spotify. Spotify has these playlists and they refresh them every week. It's like your release radar and your whatever it is. So what I'm doing now is I have a little playlist. It's going to be 10 to 12 songs, very manageable. It's much bigger. Some of our playlists are 500, 1,000. Like our DC Music Rock show playlist that we have, and I share the link with you in your episode notes. That playlist is more than 3 days long. Like there's so much good music in there. But I also want to give you the little bite-sized dose. So this week's dose of DC music is the name of the playlist. It's linked in your episode notes. So I hope you check that out. I'll be refreshing it every week. So it's all new all the time. And I want to bring it to you that way too. And then, some relevant news in recent times with the DC music biz or in the music business in general is, so how do you do a successful release in a streaming music world? It's like an issue that's big in the music business these days. Spotify and iTunes music. And there's different ways for people to consume, and the streaming thing is something that people are curious about. So if it's something you're curious about, two things that came across my desk this week, and I wanted to share them with you. One is, Ari's Take is a blog that talks about music business stuff, and he did an episode on Spotify playlist pitching, and there's something called Playlist Push that helps you with that. But it's a really interesting article that talks about playlists and Spotify playlists specifically and how to get in there. And then I also listened to the CD Baby DIY Musician podcast. And if you haven't checked that out, there's one for the title of the podcast, and the link is in your episode notes. It's Successful Release Strategies in a Streaming World. So I thought if that's something for you and you're interested in that, I hope you check it out, because it's whether you're a musician or an artist or just somebody on the street who loves Spotify or whatever it is, learning kind of that business behind it and how it works is, for me, that's fascinating. So I wanted to share it with you if that's for you. Now, let's jump into some new releases. So and by the way, Oh my God, so many good. Brent, I'm just going to totally blow your mind with all these new releases, man.
Let's do this.
There's so many this week. So remember, all these are available right now wherever you get your music online. And there's, in your episode notes, there's links to the profile, which have their iTunes and Spotify links. So you can go pull these from online. And then, of course, we've got their website and Facebook links for if you want more info about the artists. And then, of course, there's a playlist where we keep this stuff every week. So check those out. First, DuPont Brass released Halftime, which is a 9-song hip-hop funk R&B vibe, but with horns. And they're recommended if you like the Roots. I hope you check out DuPont Brass and that album now. Halftime. Next up is Teddy Shaporis, released a self-titled album, Teddy Shaporis, and it's an 11-song folk album. He's recommended if you like the Avett Brothers, the Lumineers, Dawes, or Mumford & Sons, you might love Teddy. He was on The Voice, a really interesting guy, but also really good music. So the full album is finally out, man, and he's got a good vibe. So check out Teddy Shaporis and that album title too. Bo Young Prince released Groovy Land, which is a 7-song hip-hop EP recommended if you like Andre 3000 or Outkast. You might love Bo Young Prince. Puts on a great live show. Check out more from him in that album, Groovy Land. Red Gold Green released Clapback, which is a pop single. I think they got some new stuff coming out, and this is the first of them that's come through. But ooh, I really like this Clapback song. It's recommended if you like Gorillaz or Nerd. You might love Red Gold Green. So I hope you check that one out. Clones of Clones released Mr. Sanity, which is a pop rock single recommended if you like Maroon 5 or Imagine Dragons. That's Clones of Clones and their single, Mr. Sanity. Prince George released We Won't Last the Night. It's an electric indie pop single. It's kind of, if you like Metric, Purity Ring, Miss Mr. or London Grammar, you might like Prince George. And their members are awesome. And of course, they're from Prince George, hence the name, but they spell it with a Z. So Prince George is the one, and that's We Won't Last the Night. Really cool single. I hope you check that one out. And the last one, I've had so much to share today. What a red letter day on new music, guys. Oh, the playlist is full of good stuff for you to listen to.
You should see his face. Wow. Yeah. It's glowing.
I'm positively beside myself sharing this stuff. Del Florida released, or Del Florida? I'm trying to decide whether you say it Spanish pronunciation or English pronunciation. I don't know, because it's either Florida or Florida. I don't know. But Del Florida released Dreamin' Again, which is a pop single recommended if you like Hiatus. Oh, is it Hiatus Coyote? Is that how you say it?
I would say so. Yeah.
Hiatus Coyote, Wolfpack, Now, Ariel Pink, Hers. You might love Del Florida, and the track is Dreamin' Again. All that stuff is linked in your episode notes, so I hope you check it out. And one video to share too is Red Gold Green, that song Clapback. They released a music video for it. It takes place on a soccer field. It's a lot of fun. I hope you check that one out. It's got its whole storyline and everything. I had a lot of fun watching that this week. And now I've been streaming on and on about all kinds of stuff. And Brent, talk to us, man. What's in the world of new releases and new stuff happening with you? Obviously, you're here for a reason. Tell us, man.
Yes. So, obviously, you shared some great stuff, and Prince George, those guys are great. I had the pleasure of playing with their drummer just the other week, and she's great.
Oh, Isabel is
a
incredible. Wonderful person. Yes. Isabel De Leon, by the way, if you follow her online, she's got an Instagram. She's making awesome drum covers and stuff. Ooh, it's good. So, anyway. Prince George, love it. But back to you.
All right, back to me.
Yes.
So, yes, in my own world of music, we have my band, Brent and Company. We have a new album out. Well, it's an EP. It's 5 songs. I guess that's the cutoff line.
I was gonna say, what do we say? That is it 7? Is it EP 7 or less? 8 or more is a full album? We can debate this.
Yeah, because it goes EP to LP, then
I don't know what it is. So we'll call it EP then.
Yeah, we'll call it EP.
5-song EP.
EP.
Called
Anacostia Songs Volume 1. So very ambitious start. Now we have to make a second one.
You do.
But I think there's enough source material there.
Okay.
It's inspired by DC's second river, if you will, the Anacostia River.
Okay. And
it's got an amazing history. And I just wanted to share it as it's something I fell in love with. You got to have passions, and it became the object of my intense focus.
Well, there it is. So Anacostia River and the whole region there, and it's an album all about it.
Yes.
That's
and it's
awesome.
Long history. It's critical to the founding of this area.
That's really cool. Well, we're going to play one of those songs for you coming up here. So stay tuned for that, because more on Anacostia Songs Volume 1 coming soon. Stick with it. And now the last update, what shows are you going to see this week? And actually, I have a note for you guys. So I ran into a little technical issue with my calendar, and right now, for some reason, there's shows that are supposed to be on there that are missing. And I was really fortunate that the city of DC gave me a grant to develop that calendar, and I ran out of funding, and I cannot afford to pay the developer to go in and look at the developer disappeared. So I'm no longer working with that one, and I'm basically stuck right now. I'm in an in-between time where I'm trying to figure out how to get the calendar fixed and back online. So it's still up. There's still some information in there, but I know that some of the shows aren't showing up. So if you're looking for something specific, I'm in the works. There's a note on the page. It's still a good resource for you, but I wanted to just share that with you. And if you know somebody who does front for like developers or somebody who does, I'm specifically looking for that kind of back end development. It's an API issue. If you know what that is, or somebody in your life who loves music and would be willing to lend a hand for me, please do send them my way, because that would really be appreciated. And now about upcoming shows, Brent, talk about yours, man. What's happening?
Yes. So, what we are going to be doing is releasing this EP in, the neighborhood of Anacostia in Washington, D.C. at the Anacostia Playhouse.
Nice. What is the Anacostia Playhouse, if they've never heard?
Yes. So the Anacostia Playhouse is an awesome independent theater space that has incredible programming throughout the year.
Really?
Yes. It has a relationship with the Theater Alliance, I believe. So really it hosts some of DC's most creative and groundbreaking independent theater productions. And they are expanding that offering to a small series to start off of musical performances.
Wow.
So it's on Monday nights.
Okay.
And our album release is going to be November 19th.
Monday, November 19th
yes.
is the album release. And that's the album release for Anacostia Songs, Volume 1.
It's true.
And so you can listen to it now, and then you come see it live, because you have the whole band out there for that one.
Yes, it's true.
So that's good. And you said weekdays, not normally. So appreciate the band for coming out on a weekday.
Yeah, well, you know,
I got to check it out.
Looking for work on a Monday.
Yeah.
We're all working musicians.
Monday is kind of a quiet day. It's true. This is definitely true. That's the trivia night and the open mic night, not really the live music night.
Right.
Mondays and Tuesdays, it seems like.
We're about to change that.
Darn right. Monday, November 19th. Check it out. Now let's jump into some music. We've been talking a little bit. And first up, our first track of the day that I have for you today is one that I keep bringing you new artists each week that I've never played for you. And here's another one. This is Anthony Alvarado, and the track is Susto, S-U-S-T-O.
DC Music Rocks. Great jams to hear by artists from here.
Sometimes I go out to grab berries from the tree just to squeeze. See if there's juice. In the same vein, I go out to push you away from me just to see. See if you give a damn. I wish you were sadder. Oh my God, what am I after? I'm sorry, I can't believe you. You say you love me. What do I need proof?
The sweet sounds of Anthony Alvarado, and the track is Susto, or I think it's Susto. If Susto is the title of the song, and I want to call it Susto, but it could be Susto, and Anthony's just laughing at me right now. That could be happening. But
either way, Anthony, good work. That was nice.
It's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. That's off his album To Stutter, To Yell. And he's a Virginia guy, and I've really enjoyed getting to know this guy. He's kind of recommended if you like City and Color, Bon Iver, David Ramirez, or Penny and Sparrow, you might love more of this guy's collection because he's got more. Check out more from that album. He's a diehard Wizards fan, and apparently his parents are Peruvian, and they met in the DC area and have raised him here. So he's an active part of the scene. He's got an active presence online. So I hope you follow him and check out more of his catalog because there's much more from Anthony Alvarado, and I'll be tracking him as well. So if there's more things coming up, I'll be sharing those too because just great sounds coming from him. So shout out to Anthony Alvarado. Now I've got Brent with me on the show, and we've been teasing you about this album, Anacostia Songs Volume 1. So now, before we interview him, my favorite way to introduce you to him is to just play on the music. So here it is. This is the song off Anacostia Songs Volume 1, the track, which I love, by the way. Yeah, my favorite track, or one of them, is Dueling Creek.
DC Music rocks.
Don't have to shout your insult to honor. What this whole thing about? Meet me at the city line, and the men's we will see. I demand satisfaction down at Dueling Creek. Guess I'll have to repeat. Can you even remember why we were at Dueling Creek? Mason, you're my cousin. There's blood thicker than pride. So put down your musket before we both do die. Hey! Covered in mud. Here's something for your presses. After me comes a flood. I'll take mountain faces. I trust you'll do the same. Time counted by seconds. Honor restored to name. Hey! To adjust. Was it really worth this? Look what's happened to us. I will always be haunted for what came to be. I will never come back here down to Dueling Creek.
That's Brent and Company, and the track is Dueling Creek, and that's off Anacostia Songs, Volume 1. And Brent, I love it, man.
Thank you very much.
So good. I was telling somebody, man, there's something about horns and saxophones, and it's just sexy when that happens. And the way you put it together, it's a beautiful package, man.
You can even sing about someone getting killed in a duel, and you can make it fun. You know?
I was going to say, so why don't you tell them? That was Dueling Creek, and that song, what is that song about? You were talking about the history. This whole album's about the history of Anacostia.
Yes.
So what's this one about, Dueling Creek?
Yeah, so the album covers the history of the Anacostia River. And basically that runs from DC's Navy Yard up to Bladensburg, Maryland. That's the title, Anacostia. And then it goes into creeks and streams up above that.
Yeah.
They're just as important, but it's a nerdy little point. This is just the title Anacostia we're talking about.
Okay.
Either way.
Title Anacostia, got it.
There's a creek there called Dueling Creek.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And that goes to where there once was the dueling grounds of Bladensburg, Maryland. And so gentlemen who had their differences, oftentimes they were based in D.C., but dueling was illegal in D.C., and this is like the early 1800s. So they'd cross the state line and go to Maryland and settle their beef.
No way.
It's true.
That I had no idea. There you go. So they'd go to Maryland to kill each other, and then they'd come back to D.C.
There you go. Like gentlemen.
Like gentlemen. Right. Wow. You're blowing my mind. All right. Well, let me give you a proper introduction here because you're on the show here. So on DC Music Rocks, we're shining a spotlight on the great songs, artists, and incredible people behind the DC region's music scene. Keeping it simple and soulful, Brent of Brent & Company combines rock, country, reggae, and pop with improvisation to create memorable and refreshing music with heart and soul. The vocalist and guitarist Brent is joined on stage when you see him live with the whole band by drummer Dominic Fragman, saxophonist Derek Michaels, and bassist Joe Martone. And while the members of Brent & Company come from a varied musical background, their strong musicianship kind of ties the sound together seamlessly. It's like what you just heard on the show. And performing over 250 shows a year, this is a sound that's crafted on the road in front of audiences in DC and nationwide. So it's the real deal. It's not sat up in some studio and thought up. It's like, oh, let me try this new verse today, and that kind of development, which is it's admirable. And I've been following you ever since I fell in love with the saxophone the first time I heard the song. I'm gonna have to go back and find out what that song was on the next break because, oh man, it was the first one that I heard and it's been on my top playlist ever since, and I just freaking love it. And so now that there's a new album out and then the opportunity to have you here, this is a fanboy moment for me, man. Thanks for coming and being here, man.
You're very kind. Thank you. Well, pleasure to be here as well. I'm a fan and I love what you do to support the DC music scene.
Well, thanks, man.
You're part of it that. And you're a supporter, and that is what, as a musician, we need. So keep it up.
Thanks, man. Now talk to people about what it's like when they come see you live. What is Brent & Company live when you see it like at a show?
Yes. So in particular at the album release that we're going to be doing Monday.
Yes, by the way, November 19th at the Anacostia.
The Anacostia Playhouse.
Which is, where in Anacostia is that? Like right off the highway or?
So if you
context?
Let's see, if you're coming off of the 695 in DC, it'll be the 11th Street Bridge exit.
Got it.
And if you're coming off of 295, it's the MLK exit.
I love how thorough you're being right now.
Well,
this is really
good. There's a lot of different ways you can come from.
So it's right near that interchange where it's all that stuff is happening.
But it's in historic Anacostia, and it's independent theater there called the Anacostia Playhouse. Google it. You'll find all the details. And one very cool thing we're doing is that it is a name-your-own-price ticket structure.
Really?
Yes. So if you're ever thinking, I just don't have the funds to go out tonight, well, pay what you
anyway.
Can. Yeah.
Yes. Pay what you can. That's awfully generous of you,
so
man.
the ticketing will be up very soon.
Very good. Stay tuned for that.
Yes.
And when they see you,
sorry,
what's
that was the original question.
Yes.
The goal is we're going to have the full band there, which is the quartet. We got Dominic Fragman on drums, Joe Martone on bass, Mr. Derek Michaels on saxophone, and I'm on vocals and guitar. We are a quartet. We are small, but we make a mighty sound.
That's clearly, as we heard. My goodness. I hope if you enjoyed that, and what are the recommended, if you like, I mean, I said Dave Matthews Band, and I don't know if that's true, but what are some good comparison, like recommended if you like artists? If they like these big names, they might like more of your catalog too.
I think Dave is a fair one to mention. He's a big influence on me. He's like how I learned how to play guitar. I find that referencing him can polarize people, and people either love or hate him.
Right?
You know?
Seriously.
And
Just
that's
because you
something I
hate
battle with
Dave
every
doesn't
day.
mean you should hate Brent.
Yeah.
So what else?
So
Who else besides
ignore
Dave?
that.
Okay.
Van Morrison is a very big influence on me. This other artist, Ben Howard, he's incredibly talented. And also, you know what? Prince, you can't maybe hear Prince in my music these days, but he's a big influence. So I'm just going to throw a little shout out there. Just
So
we
you
keep talking about him.
You
He's not
might or
gone.
might not have some of his CDs in your collection, and
I've
might
in
be
my
a
car
fan.
outside.
If you go out to Brent's car right now, you're going to get Prince. What song? What song are you going to hear by Prince?
I would die for you.
Yes,
It's so good.
It's so good.
So good.
And now Brent and Company. Why do you call it and Company? I mean, everybody has a different name for the band version. Is it just that was easy? Was there a story behind that?
I wish there was a better one. I needed a band name, and at the time, I kind of had a rotating cast of musicians coming through.
Got it.
So I figured it was just easier to name it after the principal, and
Sure.
that way with Brent and Company, it can be a duo, it can be a trio.
So you
it
can
be
do whatever format that
whatever
people
you
want
want it
when
to
they book
be.
you. It's whatever you want.
Yeah.
I like that. What part of the DC region is home for you? What are you connected to?
So I live in Southeast DC,
it.
in the neighborhood of Anacostia, and that's how I got connected with the river. It's right there, and if you
Right.
go for a walk, took the dog out, and immediately thought, I need to get a boat and get on this river. So I bought a canoe. Anyway, that's where I'm from. I'm rambling here.
Yeah. Well, no, that's good. We went from where are you to dogs to canoes to like I almost kind of want to let you go and see
Yeah.
where we end up.
No, rein me in. It's okay.
Rein me in. No way, man. This is all about you. What's that? Tell me your earliest memory with music. What comes to mind?
So I'm originally from upstate New York, Jamestown, New York.
Oh,
It's near
yeah.
Buffalo.
Okay.
Hometown of 10,000 Maniacs, of course.
Of course.
And
absolutely.
Lucille Ball.
Okay.
Some would call it the birthplace of comedy. Either way,
So a notable place also because you came out of there.
There you go.
And how did you end up here?
I just moved down here as a young man looking for adventure and career opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, for a while, worked in clean energy finance at the U.S. Department of Energy.
Wow. Okay.
But music is the calling, so I had to put that aside.
And the earliest
music
memory with
full-time.
music, let me backtrack to what we actually
What
started
we
talking
actually-
about. Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Earliest memory music, actually, I think it was a Four Tops and Temptations concert.
Get out of here.
I'm
Really?
serious. It was at like the Ohio State Fair or something like that. I just remember, I don't remember the songs or anything. I just remember like the atmosphere of being at a concert.
Wow.
And I think there's home videos of it that have probably jogged my memory a little bit. But I'd have to say, yeah, it's interesting. I never really thought about it, but that'd be the first.
Memory with music. And what about the first one performing?
First one performing would be, I played cello. That's how I started off.
Get out of here.
Yeah, it's
Really?
true.
You would switch from cello to guitar?
I did.
All right. Some would say that's a good choice.
Some would say it's a good choice. I still have the cello. I'm just not very good at it anymore. Oh, well. But also, another thing I would do is, it's so funny. When I look back at my old house, we had a deck on the back, and I would, I'd grab a guitar, I'd grab a tennis racket, and I'd play it like it was a guitar, and then I'd like
Yes.
set up a drum kit made out of like buckets, and I'd have like a, I don't know, spoon would be my microphone, and I would just go, no one else would be out there, but I'd go have a little concert by myself, pretending to be on stage, and
How old were you when we were talking about it?
I couldn't have been 4 or 5 years old.
Oh, that's awesome. And
So
ever since then.
I don't know what about it, but
So you were performing
it's
for
been
the
chasing the
squirrels.
illusion
And yes.
ever since then.
That's wow. Well then, so now let's fast forward then. What about your funniest moment that comes to mind for performing?
Funniest moment really has to do with just the dumb things you'll do when you're young and hungry to make any opportunity work.
Okay. Tell us a story. This is
So
good.
it's mostly something that when I look back at it now, I don't know that I would ever be able to convince my bandmates to do. But for a while, we were doing a lot of performing in the college market.
Oh,
And
nice. Yep.
Those gigs are random and they are spread across the country. You could be in the Northeast and in the Southeast within a matter of days.
Wow.
So we, at this point in time, had a one-off
Okay.
in Charlotte, North Carolina. And then we got confirmed to do a showcase position at a college booking conference. So it was a great opportunity, and we couldn't pass it down. It was the national conference.
You've got to do it. Yeah.
Got to do it. The problem is it was a day and a half later after the Charlotte show in Minneapolis.
Oh, holy smokes.
Yeah.
And
so
you went?
We just tore the Band-Aid off.
Stop
and we drove straight all night.
From Charlotte to
North
Minneapolis?
Carolina to Minneapolis.
Oh, my God.
And we were delusional from lack of sleep by the time it was done. And we were delusional in doing it. But it worked out.
I was going to say, was it worth it?
Yeah. We got a ton of business from it.
That's awesome,
it's one of those
man.
things you just have to do, even though it doesn't make sense.
Now, what about you on the personal side? What do you, outside of this whole music thing, what else do you...
Well,
what else is
outside of
life
this
like
whole
for you?
music thing, I try to spend as much time as I can, on this river that I've written an album about.
True.
So,
it's a canoe. You mentioned that.
It's a canoe I started with. There's a recent development.
Okay.
I just, through a couple Craigslist acquisitions, got myself a little fishing boat.
Look at you.
So I got a 10-foot
Nice,
fishing
buddy.
boat.
Okay.
And it's very humble, but I just bought a little outboard for it. So the days of paddling are over.
Oh my God! You get to just twist the twist the little handle, and you get to cruise right on up the Anacostia. And
Exactly.
The whole thing is, I spend time out on a boat too. I'm a boat guy on the river, and pretty much the entire Anacostia is a no wake zone. So a little tiny outboard is really all you need for the entire Anacostia.
So I didn't know it's a no wake zone. I was cruising yesterday.
Oh, surprise. So yes, the whole thing is a no wake zone. So I'm glad we can share that. And anybody else, if you were wondering, the entire Anacostia River is a no wake zone until you get way, way, way north where it's a creek and power boats can't get there anyway. Right. So your little thing, you might be able to get under the little bridges and tear it up there. But totally off topic here. Let's jump back to the music. Look at me. I'm getting excited about boating. All right. Now, one of my favorite the other one I want to ask is your biggest success moment then. You were talking about you made the leap and you went up to the college thing and the funniest moment. But talk about biggest success moment that comes to mind.
I think the biggest success moments for me are often the smallest, quietest ones. Yeah. It's easy to make it about a large performance. But for me, getting a new album out is a big success moment. For me, it's a big project. And it takes a lot of time, takes a lot of money, takes a lot of focus, which is something I lack in life.
Okay. Got it.
Very short attention span, as I think I've demonstrated a couple times here.
We've been all over the map, but we're still here. I love it. Yep. Okay.
So those are my proudest moments, really. I'm really proud of the 3 albums that I've had out so far. Okay. And they're all love letters to what we do, to the art. You were talking earlier about releasing an album in the Spotify age. And what does that mean anymore if you're not releasing a physical product? Like, does a release date matter? All raises important questions. I'm getting off topic. Yeah. But the point is that we do it because we love it.
Yeah. And it's that moment of success when I finished it. Like it's out.
It's done.
I did it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's your contribution to the catalog, to mankind's musical knowledge, be it ever so humble.
Absolutely.
And I'd say those are successes. We should celebrate those.
It's the little successes in a way, but they're very big ones in a lot of ways.
Amen.
Now, if you could offer, my favorite question to ask, if you could offer one piece of advice, what would it be?
I guess I'll tailor this to musicians in general.
Okay.
Maybe, I guess, particularly singer-songwriters, since that's been my experience. But don't take no for an answer.
Say more on that. What does that mean?
Just keep trying. And if you feel like you're creating something and you feel it has value, even if others maybe disagree at first, well, that's just their opinion and they're entitled to it. But don't take no for an answer, or do take no for an answer, but at least you got an answer. And that's the important thing, is follow up with people. That's my second takeaway.
Yep. The follow up, man. It's that being a professional business person too. Right. If you want to get into the music business, that's a thing.
So even if you get a no, it's still an answer, and then you can move on to the next thing.
So you keep following up. Don't take no answer for an answer.
There you go.
There we go. I like it. All right. And now for those folks who want to find out more about you and all the cool stuff happening with Brent and Company, where do they go?
Go to brentandco.com.
Okay, and that's brentandco.com?
Yes, you're right. brentandco.com.
Okay.
And you can use that same moniker, Brent and Co, for Instagram, and Facebook.
All the socials and
All
stuff too.
the socials.
Very good, man. And November 19th.
November 19th at the Anacostia Playhouse.
I'm excited.
Album release show.
I've never been to the Playhouse, so I'm gonna have to make it a point to make it there because I
Please.
want to see the whole band too. This is gonna be cool.
We're hoping to have
Now-
some special guests too.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. More
Cliffhanger.
have to follow you on social media to figure this
There
stuff
you go.
out. Here we go. Now, one of the things about being a guest on the show is you got to bring great music with you, and Brent definitely did that today. So let's kick it off and get back to some music. What do you have for us first today, Brent?
Yes. First and foremost is a drummer I know very well. His name is Dominic Fragman. He is on the new album, and this song is Obsonatus.
DC Music rocks. Tune in, jam on, rock out.
Grab them diamonds, grip that gold. Fake smile, soul's been sold. Keep on wanting constantly. The need to need to need to need. Got that something, keep you right. Don't stop, spend for the light. Keep on wanting, hook, line, two. He just ain't gonna quit you. Grab the latest, feed the need. True bliss, life of the dream. In the spotlight, doing enough. Don't have to question the love. Don't look there, we got the hits. Don't make a go or a miss. Keep on wanting, hook, line, two. We just ain't gonna quit you. Keep on wanting, keep on wanting, keep on wanting. Keep on wanting, keep on wanting, keep on wanting. Keep on wanting, keep on wanting, keep on wanting. Keep on wanting, hook, line, two, and we just ain't gonna quit you. Keep on wanting, keep on wanting, keep on wanting. Keep on wanting, hook, line, two. We just ain't gonna quit you. We just ain't gonna quit you. We just ain't gonna quit you.
The awesome sounds of Dominic Fragman, and the track is Obsonatus, and that's the album titled Obsonatus. And I'm pretty sure there's a music video here too. Yeah, if you click on his profile, he's linked in your episode notes and wherever you're getting this. I've actually on his profile, I've got the video for Obsonatus too, and watch this man work because there's so much talent. He's recommended if you like Soundgarden, Black Keys, Catfish and the Bottlemen, Muse. There's Frank Zappa. This is the guy, and he's multi-talented. Well, I don't want to ruin it. But he's a Southern Maryland guy, and he plays gigs all over DC and all over the area as well. And I'm so glad you turned me on to him, Brent. Talk about
My
this guy.
pleasure. Oh, Dominic is the man. Rarely have I met someone so passionate about music. Just if you are interested, if you even begin to Facebook him, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Basically, if you pull the thread back far enough, we met through Craigslist.
Really?
Yeah, basically.
God love it. That's awesome. Okay.
Craigslist has been the source of so much joy in my life.
Which not many people can say.
No, it's true. It's true.
But for some musicians, magic happens on
I love
Craigslist. It really
Craigslist.
does. Yep.
Anyway, I got to know this bassist, Ben Gilbert, out of Annapolis.
Mm-hmm.
He knew I was looking for a drummer for one gig. He's like, you should call this one dude.
Yeah.
And that was when I was just starting. I didn't know anybody.
When was that, by the way?
Oh, man, this must have been like 2009, 2010.
Got it. All right.
And I played with Dominic, and I said, holy smokes, this young man can really play those drums.
Yeah.
And so I've been trying to find ways to pay him to come hang out with me ever since.
Pay him to come. It's funny how that works. Yep.
Yeah,
That's
right.
exactly how it works. Yeah.
So I never know if my
Absolutely.
musician friends are my friends.
I'm
I'm also paying them for
You
the
can
gig.
buy them.
Yeah, right.
You can buy musician
You can buy them
friends.
for
It's
3
true.
hours at a time.
But at the same time, he is wildly talented, and he does have a whole catalog all to himself. So if you
Yes.
look up Dominic Fragman, and you can find more of his collection because he stands by himself. And what we just heard now is he is the drums and the guitar and the vocals on what you just heard there.
It's true.
It's all him that made that song.
He calls it the solo trio.
The solo trio. There it is. So magical things. I've really enjoyed watching the videos and getting to know this guy. So I hope you check out more from him. And of course, all that stuff's linked in your episode notes. So check out more from Dominic Fragman.
Correct.
Now I've got one more. As I was listening to your kind of music and stuff, there was one band that kind of is peripherally related to the genre. Well, I just heard him and I thought, ooh, this is one that Brent might like. So I wanted to play it for you. This is the band is called Bad Influence and the track is Manchild.
DC Music rocks.
She was thunder and lightning, raining all my night and day. She was thunder and lightning, raining all my night and day. I stepped out my front door, watched my baby storm away. Ain't no damn thing gonna stop her, and my levee about to crack. Ain't no damn thing gonna stop her, and my levee about to crack. I give up all my little girls just to have that woman back. She said, boy, you ain't no daddy, your love can't pay my rent. No, no. She said, boy, you ain't no daddy, and your love can't pay my rent. Now the time has come, your time don't come away. Just wait and see. Ah, you just wait and see. Ooh, you just wait and see.
There it is. The sweet sounds of Bad Influence. And the track is Man-Child. And that's off their album, Under the Influence. And ooh, I really enjoyed these guys. I started checking out their catalog because they've got a whole catalog online, and they're a group. They're based in Montgomery County and PG County, and they've been performing in the area for 30 years.
Respect.
Yeah, they've been around for a while. They used to play regularly at the historic Club Soda on Connecticut Avenue, where the mayor for life, Marion Barry, used to stop by, apparently.
I played there once.
Did you really?
Right before it closed, so there's probably a connection there.
Yeah. Where is that exactly?
It was in Cleveland Park.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay. And now and rest in peace to
R.I.P.
Club Soda.
Club Soda.
It used to be. But these guys, if you like Fabulous Thunderbirds, B.B. King, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Eric Clapton, Buddy Guy, or Little Walter, you might love more of the Bad Influence collection of songs. So I hope you add more to your playlists and do more from these guys. They perform around pretty regularly, so you can follow them online, and I've got all their links for you in their profile. So of course, in your episode notes, click on their name. You can check out more from these guys and find more of their collection, because it's just all kinds of awesome blues, and happiness happens with their music. I love it. That's the guys. Now, we've got time for one more song, but before we do that, I want to kind of bring us to a close. So first, Brent, here's what I love. I love that you are doing the darn thing. Like, you've been at it for a while. You started in 2009, and we're going on almost 10 years, almost 10 years now on doing this. Solo, you talked about solo, duo, trio, like you find a way to play any and all the gigs. But I also love the product, man. Oh, I hope if you're listening, you check out more of at least this album, Anacostia songs, or, I mean, honestly, go back and listen to the old stuff too, because man, if you go back and look at Brent and Company from some of the past, there's some songs from previous releases, like Let's Stay Together or A Little Bit Closer it's your hot song on Spotify right now, but it's also one of my, oh my goodness. There's so much jamming with really loud volume in the car with the windows down that's happened to Brent and Company music.
That. Yeah.
So, I mean, there's so much good stuff here. So I love that you're doing this thing and you're on it. And I love that you're still doing it, whether it's full time or part time or all the time or whatever it is.
Full-time.
I'm glad you're doing it, man.
Yeah, thanks
you. Thanks for being on the show. This is really cool.
Pleasure's all mine.
Now, one more time for those folks who want to find out more about you and the stuff that's going on, where do they go again?
They can go to Brent and Co, BrentandCo.com. You can also find me on Face Page and Instabook.
Face Page and Instabook. Oh my God, I need to remember that. At Brent and Co. There it is.
We're around.
Very good. And listeners, I consider it such a treat to share these guests like Brent and this great music from right here in the DC scene with you each week. Remember, we have resources for you too. So on DCMusicRocks.com, you have access to a database of more than 400 DC region artists organized by genre to help you find more music you'll love. And we do have that calendar that we're working on. It does have some great shows for you to find all over the DC area that are happening almost every day. So the bottom line is, I just want to say thanks. Thanks for following DC's music. Thanks for supporting DC's musicians. And most importantly, thanks for listening. Next week, he's like a YouTube star and a phenomenal musician. Luke James Schaefer is going to come be a guest on the show. And I can't wait to get to know this guy because I've been a fan of his as well. So big things coming. Now we get time for one more track, and that's Swamp Candy. And oh my God, I love Swamp Candy.
Yeah,
Talk about Swamp Candy.
Swamp Candy is an incredible duo out of Annapolis.
There's only two of them?
There's only two of them.
When you hear this music, it's not going to sound like two of them. That's amazing.
So, here's what's cool, man. Yeah. It's all connected. Dominic Fragman often plays on their studio albums when there's like a full drum kit there.
Oh.
But when they're live, Joey Mitchell plays a kick drum while also playing upright bass.
Holy smokes.
And it is fluid. The man is liquid. It is awesome.
Oh,
he puts
that's
on
crazy.
such an incredible show. Yes.
Very good. And so now there's two pieces.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Joey Mitchell on bass and Ruben Dobbs on slide guitar and growling vocals.
And definitely growling.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. How'd you come across him?
Craigslist.
Another one?
If you
Oh,
pull
God,
the
it's
thread
so
back, it was
good.
another introduction from Ben Gilbert in Annapolis. Ben, if you're listening, thank you again. Years ago, I needed a bassist. He's like, you should call this dude. And we've been friends ever since.
Holy smokes, man. So he plays bass for you too.
Yeah, we often do shows
And
together.
Shows combined together. And of course, they're playing all over town. It looks like they're at Ram's Head Tavern pretty regularly.
Every
and if you want to
Tuesday
see
night.
them local in DC, they're playing Pearl Street Warehouse on October 24th coming up. So that's a future one. But basically, if you stay tuned, they play the Hamilton pretty regularly too. And so you'll see them around. Follow the Swamp Candy, follow them online and stuff. There's lots of good Swamp Candy. So let's bring it home then. We got one more track. What's this one?
This one is again by the band Swamp Candy. And the song is called Dead Man Walking.
Oh, and I should say this is off their brand new album,
Brand new.
Mine.
Check
so
it out.
Enjoy.
DC Music rocks.
I'm a dead man walking right inside my shoes. Just 'cause you can sing, girl, don't mean that you got my blues. I'm a dead man walking right inside my shoes. Yes, I smoke like a gun, mama. That's a constant use. Not with the drugs, Lord, not with the nurse. You can get my I'm a dead man walking right inside my shoes. I don't mind your mouth, girl. It's just the words you use. Not beg the judge, Lord, not bless the nurse. You can dig my grave. I'm driving the hearse. Lord, I'm driving the hearse. Driving the hearse. Driving the hearse. Say death wish is granted. Only thing that's guaranteed. Say don't waste your time, love. I said don't you cry for me. I said don't you cry for me. I said don't you cry for me. She don't bring me flowers. She don't bring me rain. All love is a diamond. Like a knife to blade, like a knife to blade. I beg the judge, Lord, not beg the nurse. You can dig my grave. I'm going
Thank you so much for listening to DC Music Rocks. Useful links and information about this episode can be found on the website dcmusicrocks.com. Tune in, jam on, rock out.